Holmes comes left, throws here side, caught, Tyreek Hill, touchdown, Kansas City.
That was the exclamation point on a huge win over the Bengals back in 2018, hoping for a similar outcome here in this one as the Chiefs look to maintain the top spot in the AFC. Hey everyone, and welcome into our game preview this week presented by Crown Royal. My name is Matt McMullen, and this week we're joined by one of our very favorite people. It's Field Yates from ESPN. Field, what's up, man?
Matt, how are you? It's always good to catch up with you, and it feels like an especially fun week because the stakes are high. They always are in week 17, but the opponent is one that I think is both fascinating, intriguing, and exciting. This should be a great matchup on Sunday.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. The Chiefs, of course, are coming off their sixth straight AFC West clinching game against the Steelers last week, but the Chiefs have bigger goals than just the division title. They're trying to get the top spot in the AFC, and you mentioned how big this game is. If the Chiefs want to get that top spot in the AFC, they need to keep pace with the Titans, who are right behind them. This is certainly a big one here against the Bengals. And we'll start with their offense here because it's been one of the best offenses in the NFL this season, led by Joe Burrow. What a season he's had. He has 30 touchdown passes this year and weapons everywhere. I mean, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. Three of those guys already have 1,000 yards from scrimmage on the season. So lots of weapons for Joe Burrow in this offense. Burrow threw for like 1 million yards last week in a huge win over Baltimore. How can the Chiefs slow down this Bengals offense on Sunday?
Yeah, well, I think this is one of those weeks where you can't just pick your poison, right? There are some weeks where if you're facing off against a team, you might say to yourself, if we can contain this super duper star on this offense, we have a chance to maybe come away relatively unscathed. Well, with the Bengals, it's not like you say, hey, if we just slow down T. Higgins, we're in shape. Or if we slow down Joe Mixon, we're in good shape because you've still got Jamar Chase, a potential offensive rookie of the year, and Tyler Boyd, a veteran, the elder statesman amongst the group, who's still very much in the prime of his career and 200 yards shy of reaching 1,000 for the season, very much within reach. So they've got a lot of layers of depth right now, but the most important thing they have going is their quarterback is playing really good football in Joe Burrow. But I think the way that you can help slow down this passing game is pressure. Joe Burrow has sort of this unique style about him. He is incredibly good at processing things, and he can get the ball out quickly when he needs to. He also has a relatively high sack rate because when things aren't there immediately, he's not afraid to hold on to the ball, which can work in his favor because he does have some of those second reaction throws that are really difficult to defend, but also can result in taking a couple of sacks that are just too many negative plays to sustain over the course of the game. As we all know, the Chiefs' pass rush has been much, much better of late. Seeing somebody like Chris Jones looking more like himself, especially coming back from the COVID list recently, and Frank Clark making a bigger impact, amongst other guys who are more depth-level players, not the highest paid on the roster. I think this Chiefs' pass rush can disrupt this Bengals offensive line, which recently has lost Riley Reiff, its starting right tackle, for the year due to injury.
Yeah, I think you're right about Burrow when it comes to pressure this year. If you look at Pro Football Focus numbers, when he has a clean pocket, he has the highest grade of any quarterback in the NFL this year, but he has been sacked 47 times. That's the most in the NFL, and he's thrown 14 interceptions. That's tied for the most in the NFL. So he has the potential to be very good, especially when he has a clean pocket, but when he's pressured, he has tended to struggle. And this Chiefs defense, what can you say about these guys? They've allowed more than 17 points just once in their last 8 games. It's the best scoring defense in the NFL since week 8. What a remarkable turnaround for these guys. So hopefully they can keep that going here against a very good Bengals offense. Now, of course, the Chiefs have a pretty good offense themselves, and they've looked really good the last 3 weeks. They're averaging 40 points per game over their last 3 games, really looking like themselves lately and heating up at the perfect time. This Bengals defense has some playmakers, guys like Trey Hendrickson. He has 14 sacks this season. He has at least a half sack in 11 straight games. How can the Chiefs move the ball on this Bengals defense on Sunday?
By the way, I believe that's the longest streak, tied with Chris Jones for the longest streak ever in terms of a game with at least a half sack. So Stone Cold Chris Jones and Trey Hendrickson, 2 guys to get the job done at a high level. So I think if I'm the Chiefs offensively right now, the way that they're going to attack this defense is probably a little bit of what they've been doing over the past couple of weeks, which the amazing part about the Chiefs offense in back-to-back wins, I know that there's been many wins in a row now, but these past 2 have been particularly instructive to me because 2 weeks ago on Thursday Night Football, you have maybe not an all-time game, but an outstanding game from Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, who throws for over 400 yards. Kelce and Hill both go for 10 catches and up over 100 yards. They both found the end zone as well. Travis having a career high in terms of receiving yards. And then this past week, no Travis Kelce, Tyreek relatively held in check, and the Chiefs still absolutely find a way to basically just cruise to as many points as they want against the Steelers. Byron Pringle has 2 touchdowns, guys making a contribution all over the map. So I think the way that you're going to find that your best chance of success against these Bengals on defense would probably be attacking the middle of the field for one specific reason. We'll see where things end up by the end of the week, but right now there's a chance they'll be down their top 3 middle linebackers, their top 3 linebackers, I should say, which obviously makes things tricky when you're a defensive coordinator trying to plan for not just 1, not 2, but 3 substitute players, including the green dot player, which is the guy on defense who handles the communication on the field, makes the calls, things of that nature. Jermaine Pratt, who normally holds that role, was placed on the COVID-19 list. We'll see his availability for Sunday. I think that's probably where you have your best success if you are the Chiefs, and getting Travis Kelce back, which I presume will be the case, should help that in a major way. This Bengals defense has been frisky. They've been tough. You can't let them generate pressure as they have consistently, especially Trey Hendrickson, as you mentioned. But I think this middle of the field could be the area where the Chiefs sort of attack them most consistently.
Yeah, you're not supposed to cheer in the press box as a media member, but I think I'm still cheering at SoFi Stadium for that Travis Kelce run at the end of the game. It was absolutely amazing. Like you mentioned, didn't have him last week, but great seeing Byron Pringle step up in his absence. Had 6 catches for 75 yards and 2 touchdowns last week against the Steelers. This team on both sides of the ball is really heating up at truly the perfect time. It's such an exciting time to be a Chiefs fan, and hopefully we can keep this going here and lock up the top seed in the AFC and get ready for the playoffs here in just a few weeks. Field, really appreciate your time, man. Great stuff as always.
Thank you, Matt.